Bitcoin news. El Salvador makes Bitcoin legal tender. Bitcoin was up today after this news. What can I say? It seemed like a matter of time before some country was going to make a move like this and fully embrace Bitcoin. One thing to mention, first of all, 62 out of 84 possible votes, lawmakers voted in favor of the move to create a law to adopt Bitcoin, despite concern about the potential impact on El Salvador's program with the International Monetary Fund. Here's a quote from who? Is it the president? Yes, from the president of the country. It will bring financial inclusion, investment, tourism, innovation, and economic development for our country. This was in a tweet, actually, prior to the vote. Now, here is the important component and maybe the reason why El Salvador has made this move. Money flows into El Salvador from elsewhere. This is like when people will leave and then send money back to their relatives type of thing. This is a big deal in El Salvador. It represents like 1/5 of their GDP. El Salvador relies heavily on money sent back from workers abroad. World Bank data showed remittances to the country made up nearly $6 billion, or 1/5 of the GDP. This is one of the highest ratios in the world. So if your GDP relies so heavily on remittance, then getting money back into the country easily could be very helpful. Now, currently, you have all these variety of methods of doing that. Some of them are expensive. Some of them could be unsafe, I guess, or slow, old-fashioned procedures. So you embrace Bitcoin, you regulate it to some extent, and maybe you get even more money flowing back because it's just easier. So I'm thinking that probably contributes to a certain extent to this adoption, this official adoption of the thing. The cryptocurrency offers, in theory, a quick and cheap way to send money across borders without relying on remittance firms typically used for such transactions. Apparently, 70% of people in El Salvador lack access to traditional financial services. So this is the thing that crypto people have been saying forever, right? Is that, hey, it's not necessarily what's happening domestically, but it's like there's all these unbanked people in the world. That whole Bitcoin, I mean, how many times was the word unbanked said during Bitcoin 2021 in Miami? It's a huge proportion of the world's population that has no banking. And crypto can fix that, or at least change that fairly rapidly.
Yes.
Because of access. And
like essentially you're your own bank.
Yeah. But also for transactions, for sending and receiving. Without a bank, that's happening in all kinds of weird ways around the world. Like people transacting in phone cards in parts of Africa, and people will figure out other ways because you can't do everything locally. You can't do everything hand to hand with cash, let's say. Or if there's a volatile currency in the country that you're in, tons of fluctuation, you're not happy about that. However, it is important to note that crypto is still relatively volatile itself, as we've seen recently. And that's where the whole stable coin comes in concept. And of course, a lot of that on Ethereum, and some crypto people don't like this because they're like, well, you're just pinning to the fiat
US
currency.
dollar,
Yeah, but you can imagine if you're in a market like I remember traveling as a youngster, going to places like Cuba and using USD, having the staff at the different resorts asking for USD, or even Mexico, that happens. You know, I haven't traveled in a long time, but its stability makes it desirable. You know what you're getting. And it's still been one of the issues. Stability has still been one of the issues as far as crypto taking that next leap and becoming the de facto transaction method. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we'll see how the whole thing maps out. But it's got to be good news for Bitcoin, this right here.
I'm curious to see how many people use Bitcoin here for like a year or two. See how it goes.
You're talking about in El Salvador?
Yes.
Yeah.